Hello everyone, welcome back to more Cardinals. Welcome back to We Just Want One, and we definitely just want one, at least one, a single one. I'm asking, I'm here, I'm on my knees, I'm begging, please. We just want one. We're looking over here at the standings now as we sit atop them, probably in the NFL overall, at 12-1, an incredible 12-1. And here is how the NFC is sort of stacking up. The only team that has clinched a spot so far in the NFC is the Eagles, as the East is pretty bad this year. So the Eagles at 10-3, who we just beat last week in the last video, they have clinched their division. So at 12-1, we still have not clinched. Mathematically, we could still be kicked out of the playoffs. Can you believe that? So yeah, the win needs to happen. As you see, today's opponent, the Seattle Seahawks, our division rival, sits at number 4. Now, obviously, I think the way seeding works, they're not going to be number 4. I think that spot would go to, I think, the Buccaneers as the representative from the NFC South, I believe. But, yeah, so here is kind of how your standings sort of stack up, as you have the Packers kind of sitting behind the Bears a little bit here. But the 49ers at 8-5 and the Rams at 7-6 are kind of on the outside looking in. So they still have a chance to make it to the postseason, but after that it kind of falls off. So I guess the Saints being at 500 or 6-6-1, really, if they have like an amazing final few weeks, they could maybe do something, over the Buccaneers. I don't know, but yeah, I think the playoff standing so far, at least how they look in the NFC, is probably going to be what it looks like at the end of the year. You're probably going to see us, the Bears, the Eagles, and Seahawks in some capacity with the Buccaneers and as well as the Packers. But it should be interesting to see how the wild card sort of stacks up in these final ensuing weeks to see how many NFC West opponents make it in. And then a brief look here at the AFC. The Colts, Steelers, and Titans kind of lead the top here, with the Patriots representing the East down here at the number 4 spot. The Steelers out of the North, and of course the Colts out of the South, with the Titans also up there as well. So we're looking here for a West opponent. I guess it's the Chargers are your AFC West representative. I mean, geez, the AFC West is having a tough one. I mean, the Chiefs still suck. The Raiders are having an incredibly terrible year because of all the retirements and stuff that they had, and the Broncos were bad last year. They're actually having a really decent season compared to where they were last year. I think they only won like 2 or 3 games last year, but the Chargers were, I think, 10-6 last year, and they're kind of struggling this year. They're already at 6 losses. So, but today's opponent we're going to focus on here is the Seattle Seahawks, as we're kind of coming to the end of our regular season. We only have a couple more games, including the aforementioned Denver Broncos, and I think the Oakland Raiders, I think, is our last game, I believe. I don't know. We'll get to it, though. Don't worry. As we are playing our second game against Seattle this season, this is our final division game and our final matchup against the Seahawks, who we beat here last year, I think in week 2? Week 1 or week 2? It was week 2. It was, we played the Redskins in week 1. Week 2. We beat Seattle here because their kicker could not make a chip shot in the rain from literally like 15 yards away to tie the game and send it to overtime. So we won 10-7 in one of our grossest games, one of my grossest games on this channel. Ugh, just nasty. You can go back and watch it one. It's probably not that impressive to watch at this point. I'd like to think I've gotten better at doing this, but who knows? You might beg to differ. So this is our last game against the Seahawks, and there you see that man, Sean Alexander, a very light-skinned Sean Alexander. He could be a big problem for us this game. He wasn't that massive of a problem when we played in Seattle last year, but in our other meetings with the Seahawks, he's kind of made his name a little bit known. Hasn't really been super disruptive. No 100-plus yard rushing performances, but it's still Sean Alexander, of course. So we cannot take this lightly. This is probably the game of the week here. One of the biggest matchups, I think, so far this season, as we are essentially playing for playoff implications here. We could most likely, I think we still need to win out, or maybe not win out, but we need to, at least keep the pace here and beat Seattle today if we want a division title. So Jason McGadley, our kick returner, injures himself on the first play of the game. That is not a good look, but we are already deep in Seattle territory as Plummer's going to drop back. The pressure is coming on, and he finds Michael Coffey on the left side of the field. He gets brought down inside the 10, and we already have a prime scoring opportunity for the Cardinal offense. You got to love Plummer just kind of confidently stepping up and making that throw with the pressure coming on. He's not afraid to eat that hit, even though he's been injured a couple times so far this season. So we're going to give it to Thomas Jones, try and punch it in on the ground, and he absolutely threads through the defense untouched and punches that one in for our first bit of points here. So now we cut ahead further into the first quarter, and we are just inside Seattle territory. We have another opportunity. 1-all, David Boston, and he mosses 2 defenders to haul it in. And we are just absolutely getting bailed out by the Madden gods here so far in Seattle as our offense is doing things that they don't normally do. Those running plays, David Boston in double coverage, that's not something that we normally get away with. But it's working right now so far. It's working for us. So I am not going to question it whatsoever. I'm going to be okay with it. So first and goal here from about the 9. We're going to give it to Thomas Jones again, try and see if we can get another rushing touchdown. And he's shaking off some defenders, bumbling and stumbling, and he falls down inside the 5. So we're going to try and punch it in with our favorite touchdown goblin, Makovica, and he cannot do it as he is brought down at the line of scrimmage. Probably loses a yard, actually, and he's fired up. I guess he has the right to be. He saved a touchdown, but we're still going to get it. We're going to punch it in. You think we're not going to? Come on, man. The first quarter is going to come to a close, and our early touchdown is the deciding point so far. Seattle still has prime time to stop us here as it's 3rd and goal. We're going to go for Thomas Jones. We want it. We're racing to the goal line, and we can't get there as we are short by just a few inches. Seattle's defense comes up big, but it is 4th and goal. I'm going aggressive. I want it. Give it to the touchdown goblin, and he's got it. Spike that ball down, Makovica. You deserve to. So we take a 14-point lead here, but Seattle is driving late in the first half, and he's going to find his man. I think Trent Dilfer is still, there he is, the man himself. Trent Dilfer is still leading the Seattle team here to a beautiful 10-3 season thus far. So I will give respect to Trent Dilfer. This ain't real-life Trent Dilfer. This is Madden Trent Dilfer, baby. So Trent Dilfer's got all day to throw and make a decision, and he finally finds his man. He finds Robinson. I think it was McKinnon, our linebacker, who was just standing there just watching the play develop. I guess I could have taken control and maybe tried to break that play up, but believe me, the results would have been worse than that play. I would have found a way. So 1st and goal for Seattle's offense. We got pressure in the backfield. We are chasing Sean Alexander, but he's shaking off some tackles. Wendell Bryant, the big defensive lineman, was in on that play immediately off the snap. He was not fooled by the play action. And Trent Dilfer nearly throws an interception to LaFon Flowers, who's waiting in the end zone. If for some reason cannot come down with it, it's in his hands. I mean, whatever. I'm only paying you all that money to do stuff like that, but it's whatever. So Seattle's going to go with Sean Alexander again, and we have that play well covered. So 2 goal line stands here for both defenses in the first half, and Seattle's just going to take the 3 points off of David Akers' legs, and they are going to trim the lead now to just 11. Smart move, potentially. But with a minute left, what can we do to try and extend our lead? We find Michael Coffey on the right side of the field this time, and the time hits a minute left to go. So we're going to try and regroup here and see if we can continue moving the ball here before the first half comes to a close. So Plummer's got pressure in his face, but he lobs it up to Boston and finds David Boston, and that is hauled in, and thanks to an injury to a Seattle defender, that's going to save us a timeout. So we have a 1st and 10 now just inside the red zone. Plummer's got all day to throw. We find Boston across the middle, and he's going to pick up another 1st down. So we are moving the ball incredibly well on the Seattle defense with time ticking away. So 1st and goal again. We're going to try and go for Boston again, but we don't find him. But we're just going to throw a desperation throw to Coffey, and he somehow hauls that one in the back of the end zone. That's going to give us our 3rd touchdown of the game of the first half. So a crushing 21-3 lead over the Seattle Seahawks in the first half. This is probably the game of the week. People really tuning in here, had their TVs on, and we look absolutely amazing. We have not played this well, this efficiently, I think, in weeks, man. I mean, we've looked really shaky against our previous opponents, against Dallas, against Philly, against St. Louis, but we are just absolutely looking like a well-oiled machine right now in Seattle on the road. So Arturo Freeman has himself injured an injury. He has himself a boo-boo. He was one of our deadline pickups, someone that we traded for. And you see, maybe if we had him on the field, he would have made that stop. I'm just kidding, because he does not start. I think he's one of our backup safeties, we're not going to miss him too much, maybe on special teams. But Trent Dilfer is moving the ball well on the Cardinal defense out of the locker room to start the second half. A problem that we normally have on this team is we just are kind of slow out of the locker room here. So here in the third quarter, Trent Dilfer is absolutely masterclassing in offense right now as he finds Jackson in the end zone, and Seattle has themselves the first bit of points in the second half to cut the lead again to 11. So we need to extend our lead if we want to keep Seattle out of reach. And we make a beautiful throw to Kyle Hedgel across the middle. It's the first time we're really connecting with him today. I mean, I'm sure we found him earlier in the game. I've cut it out, but that's our first big major contribution from the rookie Kyle Hedgel, as his name has kind of simmered down a little bit in the previous few weeks here. I mean, he's always catching these deep balls and getting in the end zone for us, but this is the first time we're really looking his way in that kind of way today. So 2nd and 9 now as we're at the top of the fourth quarter now. We're going to try and punch this one in. We're going to float it to Boston between two defenders. I could see the zones here. I was waiting for David Boston to get it clear so we could get it to him, and we do. So with an opportunity here to try and punch this one in, we're going to roll out and find Freddie Jones, who has it and steps into the end zone. And we are getting everyone involved. Michael Coffey's got a touchdown. Thomas Jones has a touchdown. Freddie Jones has a touchdown. But Seattle will not be silenced as they answer us right back with a touchdown of their own. And that drive is super quick, lickety-splickety for Seattle, and they're going to go for some extra pointage here, and they get it as Sean Alexander bounces off some defenders and just walks his way right on in. So Seattle thinks that they have an opportunity to tie this one up, so they're going to go for the onside kick. David Boston is able to recover it and run around a little bit and waste a couple more seconds of time as we hold a 10-point lead here. So on 4th and 3, we can potentially put this game away with a first down. We got to have it. We want it. We need it. We have it. Throw it to Freddie Jones, and he can't haul in the football. It hits him right in the hands, and the big tight end cannot. So Seattle's got a prime opportunity with just under 2 minutes now to try and even up this game here. Trent Dilfer's going to go for it all, and he finds Robinson, who shakes off a defender, shakes off another defender, and then he shakes off even a third defender who doesn't even get to him. And a 68-yard reception for Jeff Lewis from Trent Dilfer is going to give Seattle a touchdown and put this game within 3. So just like that, our lead has evaporated, and now Bush, I think he's our backup tight end potentially, gets the second onside kick of the game, and that is potentially it for Seattle if we can extend it here. And Thomas Jones has all the running room he needs, and he's going to try to spin out of it, but he gets brought down, and that is going to essentially or effectively end this game for Seattle here. We still have to move the ball here because of the injuries and whatnot. We give it to Makovica to pick up the first down on 3rd and inches, and the clock is going here. We can try and punch it in, but we are not going to. We are just going to take victory formation and walk out of here with our lives as Seattle catches up in the second half, scoring an amazing 22 points to our 7 points. They just absolutely blew us away in the second half here, but we are able to hold on and beat our bitter division rivals. Jeez, man. It did not start out a classic, but it ended a classic as Jake Plummer gets player of the game honors for going 13 for 21 for 220 yards and a couple touchdowns. So here's the breakdown. Normally in these close games, the other team just outplays us and we just get lucky with turnovers or whatever, but we actually played really well this game. Seattle's the one who actually got kind of lucky here. We were both just as good on 3rd down here. We took a couple 4th down shots as well. Had to get kind of desperate with those attempts as well because, I mean, we're trying to put this game away and we kind of struggle with that. Red zone scoring is what it is. But we kind of own the ball a little bit more too. Plummer had himself another solid game in Cardinal red. This is what he's getting paid for, baby. Putting up a 13 for 21 game. Pretty impressive here. Thomas Jones is one of his most productive games for us in a long time. He hasn't even been close to that kind of tally, which is kind of disappointing. He's not going to have a great season, but it's whatever. David Boston with 109 yards and no touchdowns. We were kind of spreading the ball out everywhere else except him. And Alexander, our rookie linebacker, picks himself up another TFL, which is nice to see. That's really all I'm looking for as far as defense is concerned, unless there's something else really to point out, like some INTs or sacks or something like that, which we did not have today, so we didn't have to worry about it. So we are moving on now and looking here, and there it is, baby. We clinched a division title, that win over Seattle. It gives us the NFC West. I don't even know what to say, guys. We did it. Just 2 years we were able to hold down and get ourselves a playoff berth. Last year we had the 6-2 start and finished off 8-8. This year we shore up on those things, get kind of lucky here, and finish off. Well, we're not done yet. We still have a couple more games. We are 13-1 with an NFC West title. So hope you guys come back in the next video when we take on the Denver Broncos.